After all, what is this new form of Gohan? Is it a form that comes after Super Saiyan 2 that he possesses, or is it something that evolved from Mystic Gohan? Stay tuned because Whis explains everything to us, and I'll tell you every detail about what this beast form is, which, according to Vegeta, even Broly carries within him. Let's go, everyone. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and activate the bell. After all, what is this new form of Gohan? That is the question that has been echoing since the moment he unleashed that primal scream and made the very air around him bend before his ki. Many still try to fit Beast as if it were just another step after Super Saiyan 2, a kind of exclusive Super Saiyan 3 for Gohan. But the truth is much deeper, older, and at the same time more dangerous than that. For a long time, Gohan's greatest dilemma has always been his nature. Unlike Goku and Vegeta, who live to fight and surpass limits, Gohan has always carried a power that is not born from the desire for battle, but from extreme emotion, rage, fear, protection, despair. It was like that against Raditz, it was like that against Frieza, and it was definitively like that against Cell when Super Saiyan 2 did not emerge as a trained technique, but as an uncontrollable emotional explosion. Something different already existed there, something that did not follow the traditional logic of the Saiyans. Years later, when the old Kaioshin awakens the so-called mystic power, or unlocked potential, many believed that this would be the end of Gohan's journey with transformations. Mystic was not a form in the classic sense. It did not drastically alter his body. It did not require a visible transformation, but it placed all of Gohan's latent power in a constant active state. It was as if he no longer needed Super Saiyan. And for a long time, that was true. Mystic Gohan represented the opposite path of Goku and Vegeta, a cleaner, more stable, more rational path. But there was one detail that no one noticed at the time. The mystic power did not erase Gohan's wild nature, it only kept it asleep. And this is exactly where Whis comes in to put order in the chaos and explain what not even the gods had fully foreseen. According to Whis, Beast is not born after Super Saiyan 2, nor is it a simple direct evolution of mystic power. Beast is the moment when unlocked potential meets the most primitive essence of the hybrid Saiyan. Not the trained instinct like Ultra Instinct, nor the molded ego like Ultra Ego, but something raw, more emotional, and more unstable. It is the awakening of the bestial instinct that has always existed in Gohan, elevated to the max by his infinite potential. While mystic power allows Gohan to use everything he has without strain, Beast emerges when that power is pushed beyond the emotional limit. It is not a transformation that one seeks, it is a transformation that happens when Gohan's heart collapses. The loss of control, the fear of failing again, the feeling that someone dear might die because of his hesitation. All of this breaks the barrier that kept this inner beast sealed. Whis explains that this energy is not divine in the classical sense, but it is also not purely mortal. It approaches something that the angels observe with caution because it escapes the rules. It is a power that grows exponentially the more intense the emotion that feeds it. That is why the appearance drastically changes. The hair rises in an almost monstrous way. The eyes gain that empty yet ferocious stare, as if Gohan is conscious but letting something else act through him. And then comes Vegeta's statement that completely changes how we see all of this. When he says that even Broly carries this within him, it is not just a figure of speech. Vegeta recognizes in that power something very similar to Broly's infinite rage state. The difference is that Gohan was not born in that chaos. He suppressed it his entire life. Broly is the beast unleashed from birth. Gohan is the beast chained by years of self-control. Therefore, Beast is not a new Super Saiyan, nor a simple evolution of Mystic. It is the collision between maximum potential and the most primitive instinct. It is the power of the hybrid Saiyan in its purest form, something that does not depend on gods, rituals, or celestial techniques, something that is born from what Saiyans have always been, elevated by human emotions. Whis concludes by making it clear that this power is still extremely dangerous. Unlike Ultra Instinct, which seeks absolute calm, Beast thrives on emotional chaos. If Gohan doesn't learn to understand it, not suppress it, but accept it, this form could either place him above gods or lead him to his own destruction. And perhaps that is exactly why Gohan's destiny was never to follow in Goku or Vegeta's footsteps, but to walk his own path, where the human mind and Saiyan instinct collide to create something that even the multiverse doesn't know how to handle yet. On the other hand, Whis himself never suggested training Gohan, neither in the manga nor in the anime. And this is not disrespect toward Gohan, nor blind preference for Goku and Vegeta. Now, the reason for this, in a very clear and consistent way with the canon. Whis trains Goku and Vegeta for two objective reasons. The first is technical. They consciously seek to surpass their limits, accept continuous training, and live to evolve in combat. The second is functional. Whis is Beerus's angel, and part of his role is to prepare or observe possible successors to the position of God of Destruction. This point is fundamental. Goku was never a candidate for Hakushin because of his personality, but he was always useful as an extreme benchmark of evolution. Vegeta, on the other hand, is the only Saiyan who directly fits into the concept of destruction, learns Hawkeye, and develops Ultra Ego under Beerus's indirect guidance. This clearly places Vegeta within the path that Whis needs to monitor. Gohan is not on this path, and this is intentional. In the manga and the anime, Gohan never shows interest in divine positions, cosmic hierarchy, or universal balance. He fights out of necessity, not duty. A god of destruction must make cold decisions, destroy entire worlds if necessary, and maintain balance without attachment. Gohan is the opposite of that. He is driven by protection, empathy, and guilt. These qualities make him an exceptional hero, but a terrible candidate for Hakushin. Whis knows this. Training Gohan would mean pushing him toward a path that goes against his nature. Whis never forces destinies, he observes tendencies, and Gohan's tendency has always been to return to academic life as soon as the danger passes. This is not a character flaw, it is a choice. With Piccolo, however, it is different. He fits exactly where Whis does not. Piccolo doesn't train Gohan to make him a god, but to make him responsible for his own power. Piccolo is the only master who truly understands Gohan's duality, absurd strength, and aversion to violence. Piccolo's training is emotional, moral, and strategic, not cosmic. He teaches Gohan to step up when he needs to fight, not to live for fighting. And this connects directly to Beast. Beast is not a power that Whis could teach without breaking the balance. It is born from extreme human emotions. An angel doesn't interfere in this type of evolution because it could generate something too unstable for the role Whis holds. So, Gohan is not trained by Whis because he is not linked to the position of future Hakushin, neither by function nor by emotional profile. This does not diminish Gohan, it simply places him on a different narrative axis. Goku represents the path of pure instinct, Vegeta represents the path of conscious destruction, Gohan represents the path of absolute emotional potential. 3 different forces, 3 different destinies, and Whis only directly interferes in 2 of them, because the third does not belong to the divine system he supervises. And if we follow several parallels and things that Whis has already explained about the Saiyans, and almost nothing applied to Gohan, then indirectly he already told us the origin of Beast, removing from the equation what we thought it was. For a long time, the biggest question around Gohan was never how strong he could become, but why he never stays strong. Since childhood, the power was always there, hidden, compressed, as if something inside him held that strength back out of fear of what could happen if it were fully unleashed. When Raditz holds Goku and threatens to kill Piccolo, that small boy explodes for the first time, and everyone understands something that not even the adult Saiyans had fully grasped yet. Gohan doesn't grow gradually, he shatters barriers. But this breakthrough was temporary. In the fight against Frieza in the middle of the Terror on Namek, the same pattern repeats. Gohan advances, wounds enemies far above his level, and then retreats, not because he lost strength, but because he lost the trigger. The anger fades, the fear dissipates, and the power hides again. There was already a limiter there, not imposed by anyone, but created by Gohan's own heart. He didn't want to fight, he didn't want to hurt, he only reacted when there was no other choice.
This limiter reaches its peak in the Cell Saga. When Super Saiyan 2 awakens, it is not training, not technique, not strategy. It is emotional collapse. Cell 16's death breaks the last break in that moment, and the boy who always held back finally lets everything out. Cell is defeated, the world is saved, and the pattern closes once again. Maximum power exists only in that specific instant. Years later, the old Kaioshin's ritual changes everything. For the first time, someone looks at Gohan and says without hesitation that his power should not depend on anger. His potential is fully unlocked. In the manga and anime, this is treated as something definitive. Gohan no longer needs to transform. He does not need to scream. He does not need to suffer. He simply is strong. Technically, the childhood limiter is removed there. But only technically. Because what the ritual does not change is Gohan's mindset. Even with his potential unlocked, he steps away from combat, relaxes, loses his edge, and gradually fights below what he is capable of. In the Resurrection F arc and later in the Tournament of Power, this becomes explicit. Gohan is strong, but he is not sharp. He has to relearn how to access what is already his. The limiter stops being purely emotional and becomes behavioral. He can do everything, but he does not live prepared. Piccolo notices this before any god. That is why, in Super Hero, Gohan's training is not just physical. Piccolo provokes him, pressures him, deceives him, because he knows the real blockage is not in his muscles but in his posture. Gohan believes he can choose when to be strong, and the world has already shown several times that that does not work that way. When Cell Max appears, the scenario cruelly repeats itself. Gohan is there, but he is not ready. He realizes this, he feels his mistake. And this realization is the key point that separates adult Gohan from the boy he used to be. Beast is born exactly in that moment. It is not just anger, it is not just despair, it is awareness. Gohan understands that he failed again by getting too comfortable, that he put others at risk by trusting too much that there would be time. This feeling did not exist in child Gohan. Back then, he only reacted to fear. Now, he reacts to responsibility. That is why Beast is not treated in the manga and anime as a Super Saiyan 3, nor as a simple evolved mystic form. It is the manifestation of a power that was always there, but which now breaks the last pattern from his childhood. The pattern of appearing only to disappear again. When Gohan enters Beast, he does not immediately return to a normal emotional state. He remains firm, his gaze changes, his presence changes. His control is not perfect yet, but the automatic retreat does not happen anymore. This is new. This is the real breaking of the limiter that followed him since childhood. And here comes the most important detail, fully aligned with canon. Yes, Gohan broke the limiter that held him back since childhood. First with the unlocked potential, then, definitively, with Beast. But Dragon Ball makes it clear that Gohan's path is not the path of divine technique or destruction. It is the path of responsibility over a power that grows when emotion and consciousness collide. He is no longer the boy who only reacts, but he is still learning not to depend on emotional collapse to be who he can be. And that is exactly where the manga and anime stop. Because Gohan's next step is not about strength, it is about decision.